Final Fantasy XIV has earned the reputation of being one of, if not the best, MMORPG on the market today. Now, in the past year alone, the game has seen a massive spike in new players, and with that, a whole new group of people are now turning their attention towards the world of Eorzea. So just who the hell am I to be giving you advice about Final Fantasy XIV? Well, I've been playing the game since 1.0 when the game really wasn't playable at all. Now since then, I've leveled all of my combat, gathering, and crafting jobs to 80. I have Blue Mage at 70. I've completed all normal and extreme content as well as most of the Savage raids as well. Now my name is Relms, and I'm going to be your Sherpa on this journey through the basics of Final Fantasy XIV. Let's start by talking about the subscriptions and fees. If you're ready to just dive in and purchase the entire game and all expansions, just head over to the Square Enix store and pick up a digital copy of the game, as well as pre-order the new Endwalker expansion that drops in late November. Now, the complete edition for PC, PlayStation 4, and also PlayStation 5 will run you about $60 USD. Now, it's going to be another $40 USD if you decide to pre-order the new expansion. If you're just testing the waters to see if you like the game first, there's also a robust trial system that gives you access to the base game and the entire second expansion Heavensward. This effectively allows you to level up to 60, but there are restrictions that do apply. I'll drop a link in the description that covers them all, but some of the major ones that are worth noting are you are not able to use all the chat features, and that means no shouting, yelling, or sending tells without a person being on your friends list. Now, you cannot access the in-game market, aka the market board, to buy and sell items, and there's no trading with other players. Also, you will be capped at 300,000 gil as well. And if you do decide to press on and buy the game, there's also a monthly subscription fee that you'll need to pay. Now, the entry-level subscription, that's going to run you $12.99 every month, and it allows one character per world, or you can go with the standard subscription that will cost you $14.99 a month, and that allows you up to 8 characters per world. Now, since you can level all jobs on just one character, the entry-level option will be fine for most people. Now, additional fees will apply for add-ons such as extra retainers. And next we have data centers. Now this one is pretty much self-explanatory, as you'll want to pick your own specific region to get the best ping. Now you will be able to travel to other worlds, aka servers, on your data center, so if you're coordinating with a group of friends, be sure to set your data center and your world accordingly. Now I will say that Famfrit in the Primal data center is the best and only reserved for champions, so feel free to join me over there. Now it's time to choose your race. Now my best advice here is to just pick the race who has the aesthetic that you like the most. There are no racial passives or skills in this game, and the stat bonuses are completely worthless and would only offer a fraction of a % difference to the overall strength of any job. So there's not much potential in Final Fantasy XIV for min-maxing racial bonuses. Just don't be a LALAFELL. They have no souls and they're filled with pure evil. There are 3 job types in FF14. You have tanks, healers, and DPS. Now the jobs are basically classes in any other MMORPG, and they don't offer talents or builds, but rather rely on optimized rotations. Now builds are typically handled through how you gear your character and the stat boosts that you place onto that gear. Now your optimized rotations, which aren't super important until the end game, are what you should work on refining as you level up and receive new skills and spells. When starting a new character, you'll be given the chance to play a base job. Now, once you've obtained level 30 on the base job, you'll be able to complete a quest for your job, and that's going to give you what they call a job stone, effectively supercharging the base class and giving you new abilities and better stats. For example, a bard would actually start off as an archer and then do their level 30 quest that would actually make them a bard and give them some bard specific abilities. Now note that some jobs are actually locked behind expansions and reaching a specific point in the game to unlock them. Now, in these cases, the jobs are actually going to start at higher levels. So job quests are important to complete as you level up, and I've provided a link in the description that will help you actually track the levels that those will become available to you. Once you have reached level 15 on any job, the Hall of the Novice will open up to you. Now, these are accessible at the inn in any of the major cities. Now, it's highly recommended that you check this out because they are essentially tutorials on how to play your job and utilize your skills properly. You can also find the locations in the Hall of the Novice trainers in the description below. Also, a little pro tip, if you want to be flexible in endgame content, I do recommend leveling at least one of each job type to 80. So this makes you versatile, and knowing and leveling one tank, one healer, and one DPS will open up doors to you in any pre-made and queued content. So it effectively makes you able to fill any role that is needed. And you don't have to be like me and level everything to 80, but having 3 jobs from each branch is never a bad idea. A Realm Reborn, or ARR as it's known in game, is where you will begin the story. This is going to be a little difficult to trudge through for some people, as the pacing is a little slow. However, the developers have condensed the story to make it a little less lengthy, but it's still not the most intriguing content, and it's a little rough to get through until the end. Now, once you have moved over to the Heavensward arc after level 50, the story vastly improves. Level boosts and story skips are available in the Mog Station store, but many players will discourage these for those who are new to the game. Now, I'm not going to try to persuade you to use them or not, but Final Fantasy does offer a fantastic storyline that continues across each expansion. If you decide to skip a bunch of the story, or you boost past it and decide to get into it later, you can always watch old cutscenes on YouTube or via the in-game cutscene viewer that you can access via the in-room. Your main path of progression is the MSQ, or Main Scenario Quest, and for the most part the MSQ will govern what content you can access, the zones you can travel to, and what quests are available to you. Now, the path is very linear and requires you to complete all previous MSQ quests to progress into a new expansion. For example, you would need to complete all of the MSQ quests in Heavensward before you could actually access MSQ quests and content in the Stormblood expansion. Now, MSQ also offers some of the best experience around, so if you're over leveling on your main job, don't be afraid to share the love and level your side jobs using the MSQ as well. Now, you're not just locked to questing the MSQ. There are plenty of side quests in Final Fantasy XIV, and I'm going to go ahead and pop an image up now that shows you some different markers to look for when you're searching the open world for quests. Final Fantasy XIV breaks things down into a few different styles of combat related options, so let's take a closer look at these. First up, we have dungeons. Now, these are self-explanatory and are general content aimed at parties of 4, so you'll have a tank, a healer, and 2 DPS. Now, your goal is to clear the bosses in the dungeon, get fat loots, and get out. Now, while you're leveling, it's always a good idea to run dungeons on the levels that they are unlocked. For example, when you reach level 15, you'll unlock the dungeon Sastasha. Now, running this dungeon while your job is also level 15 will give you the maximum bonus to experience. If you complete the dungeon at a higher level, such as 16, your experience will still be good, but the overall amount will diminish until it reaches the minimum EXP threshold. Next up are trials. Now, these are effectively just boss fights, and they come in 3 different flavors. So you have normal, hard, and extreme. Now, trials are often linked to the MSQ on their respective normal modes, but you can unlock the extreme modes at level cap of the expansion that the trial was released. Now, extreme trials are more difficult than the normal modes and hard modes as well, but extreme offers rewards such as gear and droppable mounts. And next up we have raids. Now raids actually come in a couple of different flavors as well. So Alliance raids are 24-man content set with a normal difficulty, although they can get challenging at times. Now Alliance raids tend to drop set pieces for the raid encounter, and they're normally below the max eye level of the patch that they're released in. Now, normal raids, on the other hand, this is where the hardcore raiders live and breathe. Now, these are 8-man content, and it's typically unlocked via side quest series. They consist of about 12 different bosses, usually 3 tiers released throughout the cycle of an expansion, and they're available in both normal and savage modes, with savage dropping the best items, but greatly expanding the mechanics and abilities of the boss that you fight. It's not just more HP and harder hits when you take on Savage content, it's completely new mechanics and phases that you will need to learn. Now, Savage raids tend to drop the best gear pieces for the current patch that they are released under. Grand companies are essentially the faction or the city-state that you align your character with. Now, it's very important to level up your ranking with your chosen grand company to gain access to a wide variety of items, content, and some quests are actually locked behind your ranking as well. Now, if you ever want to buy a house in the game, you'll need to level up your ranking. You'll also need to increase your rank to unlock the ability to ride mounts and a wide variety of other things. Now, you can learn all about grand companies in a link in the description below. Now, sometimes you may encounter an instance where you've won a piece of gear, and when searching for it in your inventory bags, you just can't find it. Now, that's where the armory storage comes into play. Many times you'll notice that when you obtain a new piece of gear, it goes directly into your armory storage for safekeeping, or until you decide to remove and equip it on a certain job. Now, this gives you the ability to freely swap between jobs using different armor and not waste any of those also sweet inventory spaces. And with that, you should have a basic understanding of what to expect early on in Final Fantasy XIV. Now, we barely scratched the surface of some of the systems and content that you'll run into, but if you'd like to see some videos on that content and those systems, please do let me know. Also, let me know if you do like this video, and if you have any questions about the game in general, please feel free to drop a comment or two. I'm very responsive and happy to answer those for you. So I appreciate you guys watching my video, and until next time, I'll catch you later. Peace.